The jury is back in the courtroom this midday after several days off in the sentencing trial of Tanner Horner. Now it's the defense's turn. But first, the weather. The rain still in the air after an already very wet morning and wet commute. Take a look across North Texas. Look at that. Dallas and Fort Worth. You can't really see anything. Yeah, look at that. Thank you for joining us for Midday. I'm Morgan Young with meteorologist Colin Myers. We just saw those shots from Fort Worth, from Dallas.
I know.
Where's the skyline?
It's very foggy, surprisingly foggy here, even after 11 o'clock. This also shows us something interesting. It shows us for the storm potential that comes in this weekend, we have a low chance overall because of that strong cap. We always talk about the cap. That is evidence that we have a cap building because that cloud layer is warmer air. It's moisture trapped beneath warmer air. So what I always like to say, and I've brought it out before, I haven't done that yet, and a boiling pot of water, okay? And you have a lid on top. What happens? That's your strong cap. What happens if you knock the lid off? Boom, okay? If you have that lid and it's a very strong cap, like we're gonna have all the way through the weekend, nothing happens. And what's underneath it? This is all your moisture trapped. Look at that, downtown Fort Worth. This is in the skyscrapers, and you can't see anything. Let's go to some of our others here too. I'm gonna pull up a couple others. Here's UNT Denton, looks a little better, but you can see the fog looking to the south, so visibility down to 4 or 5 miles or less, maybe down to 2. I might be overestimating that. Here's DFW Airport. Look at that. We're looking down towards the hangars here and the terminals, and you can't even see anything. They're looking to the southwest, slight delays according to that. So the rain has moved to the east, and some of these had some thunder earlier near Greenville, Farmersville, if you know the 380 corridor, spots right there, but that's racing off to the east. In the wake of that, here's your cloud cover overlaid. So quite a bit of clouds, starting to see some breaks west of Mineral Wells, Palo Pinto, west of Decatur. And we're starting to see some of that fade in. That should gradually start to increase. I'm optimistic that we'll see more sun than not later this afternoon. But as soon as I say something, sometimes Texas weather will change its mind. So I'm hoping that continues to be the case. As we talk about this weekend, setting up over the southern plains, couple of storm systems that are going to sweep through. We'll talk about it coming up. First, let's start with today, the good news. Sprinkles run out of here. Look at that. High-res models are all in agreement. By 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe not quite this much sunshine, but a lot of clearing on deck. We would like to see that. It's been a gloomy few mornings, Erica. Changes on the way.
It certainly has, and gloomy and wet. Today was the big story again on the roadway, so we had a lot of problems for the morning drive, not as many for the midday drive, but let's get you up to speed with what I'm seeing right now. So State Highway 183 and American, as you make your way through Tarrant County this morning, we do have a crash left-hand side. 2 lanes are shut down, making your way into the Euless area this morning. Right now, I want to show you where this is on the map and kind of show you what we're seeing across the rest of North Texas. A lot of green out here. Such a better look than the morning drive. So it's not as busy, but 183 westbound and American, again, coming into the Euless stretch. Couple left lanes are closed off as you make your way through that stretch of Tarrant County. And then in Dallas County, coming into Farmers Branch, 35E northbound, we do have a crash at Valley View. So I'll show you what we have going on there. It actually looks like it may have just cleared out in the last few seconds. So that's really good news. We've seen a quick emergency response today in general. Colin mentioned that fog. You can see it, but it's just kind of above our interstates and highways. It's not creating a big impact on your visibility on the roadways, but we're certainly seeing it. And again, making for a gloomy drive as you get ready to head out the door. Morgan, I'll send things back to you.
All right, Erica, thank you. We want to get back now to Tarrant County, where the jury is back in Tanner Horner's capital murder trial, one we are streaming gavel to gavel right now on WFAA+. After the prosecution rested last week, the defense will now present its case. Our Janelle Ford is live at the courthouse with the latest. Janelle?
Well, Morgan, they just went into their morning break, and the judge says that it's going to take a little bit longer than usual this time around because he wanted to meet with both of the attorneys first. But this morning it began with the jury back in the courtroom, with the defense finally taking its turn to try and save Tanner Horner from a death sentence. Right now, you are taking a live look at our coverage of this trial on WFAA Plus as our panel of experts discusses what we've seen so far and what comes next. Now, the day started with defense attorneys calling Dr. John Edens, a psychology professor at Texas A&M, to the stand around 9 o'clock. His testimony lasted nearly 2 hours and was centered on one of the biggest questions jurors have to answer in a Texas death penalty case: whether Horner would be a continuing danger to society if he's sentenced to prison instead of death. Now, Edens told jurors about research involving Texas death row inmates and how often experts may overpredict future violence Prosecutors have already been pushing back on that, pointing out those inmates were often housed under tighter security. And that is the legal fight happening right now in a case that has already delivered some incredibly difficult testimony. You'll remember at the start of this trial back on April 7th, Horner pleaded guilty to capital murder in the kidnapping and killing of 7-year-old Athena Strand. Prosecutors say the former FedEx driver abducted and murdered Athena after delivering a package to her family's Wise County home back in 2022. Jurors have also already seen the chilling video and audio evidence from inside of that FedEx van. Now it is up to them to decide punishment, whether this jury believes he should be executed or spend the rest of his life behind bars. And later today, they are expected to hear recorded testimony from his mother as the defense begins laying out, again, why he deserves to spend life in prison and not be sentenced to death. I'll send it back to you, Morgan.
All right, Janelle, thank you. And just a reminder, we are streaming this entire trial on our app, WFAA+. Senior investigative reporter Tanya Iser and a panel of experts is breaking down all of the testimony. It is live right now on WFAA+. Police in DeSoto say several people were shot in the parking lot of a shopping center. This happened just after midnight on Northampton Road near Pleasant Run. The victims were taken to the hospital. Police have not said how many people were shot or how badly they were hurt. So far, no arrests have been made. Iran firing on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz today, just hours after President Donald Trump announced an indefinite extension of the ceasefire. This is raising new questions about future negotiations. ABC's Christian Cordero has the latest.
Today, tension is rising at sea as 3 ships attempting to cross the Strait of Hormuz were hit by Iranian gunfire. Satellite images show 2 of the ships near each other early this morning, trying to head outbound. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it seized both container ships, claiming both were attempting to secretly exit the Strait of Hormuz. A 3rd container ship was attacked but not seized, according to Iranian state media. It comes as the U.S. and Iran both jockey for control of the strait, which has been effectively shut down for weeks. President Trump insists the U.S. has a complete blockade in place, with the administration trying to disrupt Iran's economy by cutting off access to its ports.
The blockade has been a tremendous success.
Iran, meanwhile, says it has control, warning any ships trying to pass through must communicate with them. At least one vessel over the weekend said it tried to do just that, but then was fired upon, according to experts and a witness who reviewed this audio obtained by ABC News.
Sepa Navy, this is Motor Angus Marheadal. You gave me clearance to go. My name second on your list. You gave me clearance to go. You are fighting now. Let me turn back.
As movement in the strait shows no signs of progressing, neither do negotiations between Washington and Tehran. Vice President J.D. Vance was expected to leave for Pakistan yesterday to meet with mediators. Trump repeatedly insisted bombs would start falling again if Iran didn't come to the table. Instead, he agreed to extend the existing ceasefire indefinitely.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll shows only 26% of Americans say U.S. military action in Iran has been worth the cost, as this war now approaches its 9th week. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And we may be in for chaos at our airports again soon if Congress doesn't act. The Homeland Security Secretary says his department will run out of money to pay workers the first week of May. That includes TSA agents. The president signed an executive order to pay them as Congress remains deadlocked on funding, but that emergency money is about to dry up. Classroom teachers in Fort Worth ISD are getting a 5% pay raise next school year. New Superintendent Peter Licata revealed this plan in a letter to the community. This raise applies to teachers at non-Elevate campuses.